My Twitter feed is completely flopped around. And I don't know if you guys have seen, but you have a lot of race baiting going on in the internet. I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with that guy named Chud, the builder, whatever the fuck his name is. I don't care, honestly. I don't care for incompetence. But I do want to speak on it because I just feel like I find it funny. I find it so funny. You know, disclaimer, I love every race out here. First of all, I'm not a race I'm not into race play. I don't really believe in the race. Not that I don't believe in, but I have faith in that we're all made equal and not that whole shitty saying Martin Luther King, MLK, Malcolm X, presidential speech. No. We're literally all made in God's image. We are all have something in us that's called melanin. We all have had it. We had it to be able to acquire it, to be able to lose it. We all had it at one point. Now, what I'm gonna say, honestly, I'm not even upset because I do know there's a lot of terrible people out here. There's a lot of terrible people out here. Chud is one of them. Chud, I don't know the psychological problems he has, what he's been through in his early days of life. I don't know. Do I care? Not so much. Not anymore. But I am a forgiver. I forgive Chud. Everything he do, I forgive him. You know what I'm saying? Because I know it's a deeper meaning to that. What he got going on. It's obviously something deeper in his heart that's like has him doing these things. He feels a certain way about it. He may just be a terrible person. May just not like black people. You have to be taught to not like black people. By the way, you know, um, as a baby, you don't have to be taught to lie. You know why? Because lying is like a instinct that comes up when you don't want to be in trouble. Now, so you just say the other thing that's not true. That's an instinct. But that's like you can use your brain for something like that. Like you could come up with that own thing. You know what I'm saying? All babies do that. Like babies lie on their siblings, their brother, whatever the case is. So, but you cannot teach a baby to not like another person because first of all, that's the beautiful thing about God. He made us all as one. That when you're born, you don't even question the other person. I mean, you may question like the skin tone of the other person, but if you like that person, you just like that person. Now there may be I can understand maybe like you don't know that person, because their skin tone is completely different, and you feel like you're just scared of things. But then again, it's like you still you're not gonna wake up with that pre notion that that person's a bad person or that different color skin guy or girl is some negative in your brain. You cannot come up with that as soon as you're born. You know, you can only acquire that throughout the years that you've grown up. And that being said, racism can only be taught in the household that you're in. You can only be taught because to have a certain amount of hate in your heart, a certain amount of hate in your mind that makes you disregard all moral conduct, all moral standards for the next individual just because of their skin tone is different. That makes you a terrible human being. I can't even fathom somebody disliking somebody because they're a different color. Now, I'm not gonna be stupid and be cliche about all this because obviously, we do have a lot of propaganda in the media. They put out a lot of different race games and they want us to hate each other. Obviously, black people doing a lot of shootings, white people going to school, they're most likely school shooters. Muslims, they bombing shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I don't really play into the media a lot because I realize the media always makes sure to put that race out there, put that what class that person is is with, and it's like why does that matter? That person just is a terrible person already. He killed someone. Why does it matter what race they are? And I do understand that there's a lot of stereotypes because at the end of the day we do have a lot of things, and I believe some stereotypes. You know, we most black people be in the hood. That's what it is. Because if you also believe in racism, then you believe in the systemic racism, and then you understand that poverty is not so much not a you problem. You know, we were already born with deficits. We're already born. Shit, they took the land already. They took the land from our neighbors, and we had to come here and slave. You know, so we were already at the bottom when it started. You know what I'm saying? So it's not our fault that we have to work 10 times harder just to be on that same level. And I don't look at any black person wrong if they don't have their shit together or if it's hard for them to do certain things because I already know what this world is against. You know, I'm not gonna say the whole world is against because it's pretty much America, but I know what time we on. You know what I'm saying? Now, another thing, the reason why I want to get into this is because I just feel like you have a serious problem if you call yourself not liking another person because of their skin tone. You know, I find you one of the most horrible human beings on earth, and I find you a tad bit ignorant. I find you very ignorant, actually. You know, being the one of the most horrible people on earth is pretty much self-explanatory because God forbid you're racist and you feel like no one should be murdered, no one should be harmed, assaulted, talked to in a certain way, respect each neighbor, right? God forbid you're racist and that goes out the window for a little black girl or a little black boy, a little black kid. So do you still have those feelings? Now, I want to have a serious conversation with those who may have those feelings about black people or any other race out there. So when there's a little girl, God forbid, obviously I would never wish this on anybody. But if you're racist and does your moral standard just go out the window when it's somebody that's not your color? Like if a little boy got beat the fuck up, beat in, he got beat up like by older people, would you care? I'm talking about let's say a 10-year-old just got jumped by 21 plus year olds and it made the news. It went viral. You know what I'm saying? Everything. Would you care? You probably wouldn't care. And because it's a black boy or whatever, a race that's not yours. Well, whatever you don't like is it. That's what that boy is. Would you care if something happened to him in a vile, nasty way? You probably wouldn't care. Probably would. And if you do care, then you have to care for everybody. You can't just care for those like little boys because if you care for the little boys, then the little boy's gonna grow up to be a man. And that same little boy that you saw that you want to hold sympathy for, when they get older, you know what I'm saying? Like you just gonna that just goes out the window, or is it you don't care about the little boy, you don't care about what happens to the little girl, you don't care about anything. You simply don't give a fuck, and you just don't care what happens, no matter if it's rape, if it's murder, you don't care. That being said, racist people are the worst people ever. Like I can't bear to see a racist person claim that they have a moral conduct, they go by moral code, but it goes all out the window for another person. You can't claim that you're a moralistic person and you have a good personality, good characteristics, but you feel like you're better than the next person. And when I think about it, it's how can you be a good person? And it's like those white people who are racist and they're in their own world. Like, how do you feel about yourself? Do you like look in the mirror and be like, "Oh, I'm this great person"? Like, how do you feel about yourself? Do you feel like you're a good person? Actually like a sound, well off person who has a good moral code, not disrespectful, mannerisms. Like, do you feel like you're a great person in that sense? But when it comes to other races, you just don't give a fuck what happens. And that's why I say racist people have to be the worst people on earth because you truly feel as if you're better than someone else. Not only better, you feel like that person doesn't deserve the same life that you do. Not the life, but just the same type of safety, the same type of laws, the same type of priority. You just feel like you're better off than that person, and that's crazy to me. And I honestly want to know why. Because actually I want to know why. It's because it's so funny that they call us monkeys. You know, they call us monkeys, and that's where the ignorance comes in at because well I call it projection. Because why is the first thing monkeys? Like white people literally look like monkeys more than. And I'm sorry if I offend some other whites. I promise you, I have no problem with white people. I love white people. I love everybody. And honestly, the fact that I have to speak on this, it says a lot because I usually just like sideswipe that shit, just whatever. Because I know like there's a lot of evil people out here. At the end of the day, it's good versus evil. If you're evil, then you fall in that category. If you're good, I'm going to assume you're not racist. And if you are racist, then you can't say that you're good. So you're just in that category. It's crazy how y'all call us monkeys, you know, but you guys were literally in the caves after the flood. You guys were in caves after the flood. You know, you guys were the literal monkeys, the literal cavemen, the literal Neanderthals. That's where your people moved. At one point we all were the same skin color. I think the lightest version of a black person was light skin. White people, you're not. There's no such thing as white, and that's why I say that's how I know the brainwashing of the world and the people who came first were able to tell history. You're not white. There's no such thing as white. You cannot be a white skinned person. White is just the absence of light, right? And if you look at your hand, look at your hand, like the back of your hand. You could obviously see that this is facing the sun most of the time. This is not. That's why my hand, like this, is lighter, right? On the insides. That's why a lot of the inside parts they're lighter than the outside parts because we're facing the sun. I could be this skin color and be white. You see how you probably can't see as much, but my hand's translucent. Basically, you can sometimes see the vein that's inside. If your skin was a color, because color is, you know what color is? Color is like Crayola, uh, uh, stencil, pastel, a color. You have to color something in. What color is a tree? Is green, brown roots, right? Our skin. What color is it? We can't really say what color it is. You can because they say we can't say black. My hair, this is black. My hair is black, right? This is black, and not even this is just dark, dark, dark brown. It's not like a jet black like this. It's brown skin, but I'm not categorized as brown. They say black. Why is that? Now I've never seen a black dark skinned person like black as this. I've never seen that before. So why we call it black? And like I said, a lot of ignorance that goes around. We're all the same people at the end of the day. And going back to the caveman thing, my point is, you guys after the flood, you guys migrated to the caves, and we had Shem, Ham, and what's the last guy? Japheth. When they all split up and they all covered the earth to repopulate after the flood, some of the families, some of y'all, some of the whites, I think if I'm not mistaken, they're Edomites. Some of y'all went to the caves away from the equator. We were closer to the equator. We stayed out in the sun, which is why we have that color and which is why y'all lost that color. Because back then there was no white people. There was no white people back then. It was just light skin. Light skin. You cannot just be white. You can't. Now, throughout years and years and years of you guys hiding from caves, losing your melanin, losing everything, that's what y'all became, which is why you can see your veins. Everyone can see their veins. Like you can see it. Like if you look hard enough, you can see a vein, like a red one or blue one. When they're about to put the needle in, you can see your veins. If we were a color, we would not be able to see anything that's like on the inside. Unless your flesh is open, but you won't be able to see anything. The fact that I can see my veins, I can see like you cannot. I'm not a skin color. I just have that melatonin. Simple as that. And I feel like once people get that down, you start having these stupid ass conversations about who's what and who's what. The only thing I really care about that makes the best sense is more so ethnicity and where you're from, the culture you brought, or the culture that your people gained throughout time. That's the only thing that almost matters and that actually like makes sense. But other than the skin stuff. And people who still operate off that skin stuff, it's 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 just tiring. Honestly, it can be tiring for you. For me, I don't care because, like I said, I already understand the wickedness of the world, so I know like what's what, what's not. But you know, fortunately, we have people who they have those feelings. Some people are just racist. Some people just don't want the others to be good as them. Don't want the others to be as successful as them. Why? Not sure, but we're always known to watch out for these people. Chud the Builder, Chud the Butter, whatever the fuck his name is, he's gonna get what's coming for him. You know, all he had to do was live his life. He's twitching. He got bread. Imagine getting bread and you just worry about agitating somebody. You're spending your life agitating people. I don't care what type of person you think you are, what you think you're doing, or how right you think you are. You're going to someone and you're trying to provoke them to do something to you. That's your whole point. And you want to cover it up with, I'm trying to teach people. So you just want to get your rocks off. You want to feel good about yourself. You don't want them to say anything back so you feel good about yourself. And you have a weapon. Because if you were actually trying to teach people not to do nothing, you wouldn't be carrying a gun. And if you have to carry a gun anywhere, that means you're looking for trouble. Dumbass nigga.